Dan. Dan is the one who always catches the worm here. And it sounds like I'm live somewhere. I hear it through feedback from Steve.
You are live.
Live and direct on video. Cleaned up everything. We're looking good. Yay. So we have big excitement going on in the chat room here. Everybody happy for Lindsay and Nolan? Very excited. Lindsay, I'm so glad you came tonight. I was hoping you would. I was going to ask if you were going to come. I'm trying my regular glasses, my non-regular glasses just tonight to see how this works. My contact lenses have been weird.
For the audio listeners who might not be in the chat room.
Oh, right. For the audio listeners or anybody on Alpha Geek Radio, we're all excited because our daughter Lindsay and her husband Nolan are pregnant, going to have a baby in July. And we will be talking about that just a teeny bit on the show, just for fun. Yeah, they could have the birthday on Sandy's birthday on the 18th. That'd be nice, Linz. Kevin, did you see what he wrote? He wrote, Steve looks far too young to be a grandfather.
But what? No mention about you.
So for the record, we will be called Mimir and Pipir. And the reason for that is when my mother was a young girl, she lived in Canada for some reason, which I never understood, with her grandparents. And the word for, what was it? So she grew up speaking French, and the word for mother is ma mère, but she couldn't say ma mère for some reason, so she called her Mimir. So I grew up calling her mother Mimir. And so when I had kids, my mother became Mimir, and Pipir is my dad. And so we're going to keep going with the tradition. So we will be Mimir and Pipir. Yay. Okay, enough excitement there. All right, let's make sure that the live audience can hear me. You do a quick little record here. Oh, that would be the way to do it. I just had another epiphany on Amadeus. Let's try this again. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com. All right, let's see if you guys can hear this back. If I go back to the beginning. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com. All right, can I get a confirmation?
Playback is there, but it's a little quieter.
The old too quiet playback. What do I do about that problem, huh?
Yeah. Not much.
Do we have a way of doing? I thought I had a way of fixing that. I do have a way. Wait, no, that's my headphones. No, that would wreck everything. What do we want to do? Volume. Ah, here it was. All right, let me undo my delete and let's try that again. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast. Is that any louder?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, that's 2x. I can crank it up. You want it louder? Nura says they can hear me enough. All right, Steve, louder or it's good? Hi, dear. Thank you for the private message.
Read my previous.
Oh, is that what that hey meant? Let's see. Oh, yes, I do have it. Sorry about that. Wait, there we go. Say hi, Steve. Say hi to the audience.
Hello, NosillaCast castaways. Welcome again to this lovely Sunday evening or Monday for some of you. Like
Alistair. Excited. All right. So everybody could hear that. We're good to go. All right, time for roll call. It is time for roll call. We got possibly Donald and Steve and Brett, Kevin, Dan, Honda Bob. We've got my darling daughter Lindsay and her baby Petite, and we got Dorothy. We got NC28222, whoever that is. Hello to you. And we got Nuris and Rose and Richard from Alaska or Arkansas. I can never remember. This could be Alaska, right? Sandy and Mark and Alistair Jenks from New Zealand. All right, let's go ahead and let's kick off the show because we got a lot to do tonight. Let's see. Let me get rid of this. Share it into the NosillaCast. Nope. That's not how you do it. I don't actually know how to select a track, a thing in a track. So there. Let's do that. I think that I can nail this if I do this just right. Okay, here we go. Alaska. It looks like Arkansas. So what does AK stand for? I mean, what is Arkansas's rule? I don't know. Or what's their thing? Oh, Sybil snuck in at the rear. I saw you sneaking in. You're buying next week, Sybil. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Macintosh bias. Today is Sunday, January 24th, 2016, and this is show number 559. We had a lot of fun on deck today, including a review by good friend of the show and often host when I'm on vacation, Alistair Jenks. Then we're going to hear a couple of interviews from CES, and after that, I'm going to regale you with a tale of how I was actually the smart one for once and helped Dorothy with a technical problem. We'll toss in a couple more CES interviews and then clean our palates with security bits with Bart Bouchatz. But before we dig in, I have a little personal news that I wanted to share with you. Our daughter, Lindsay, also known as Giblies in the live chat room over at podfeed.com/live, and her husband, Nolan, are expecting a baby this July. Steve and I are, of course, thrilled to be grandparents-to-be. I have a warning, though, for those of you who follow us on social media. You know how insufferable we are with pictures of our dog, Tesla, and now of our kittens, Ada Lovelace and Grace Hopper. Can you just imagine how annoying we're going to be with a grandchild? You got about 6 more months of relative sanity, and I suggest unfriending us both. Well, on Chit Chat Across the Pond this week, Bart was back with Programming by Stealth, episode 7, entitled More CES. We finally got to learn how to format text with CES. It was definitely my favorite episode yet. I had a great time. Don't forget, you have to subscribe to Chit Chat Across the Pond separately from the NosillaCast in your favorite podcatcher if you want to catch these great shows. All right, let's dig in and hear Alistair's dulcet tones. There we go. Did anybody like Ada there? That was great, wasn't it? Sybil waves at Allison from the back of the auditorium. Hello. Yeah, Cat was nice. Notice how I didn't miss a beat?
Not bad at all. Not bad.
All right, save as. Pretty. I was impressed with me, but I always am. 2016. So this is NC_2016. What are you laughing at? 0124. Save. All right, here we go. Where did I put Alistair, do you think? I put that back in Dropbox, didn't I? And forgot to move it back out. So that's good. So I got to drill down into podcast, into reviewers, and then don't look under A, look under Z for Alistair. And there's the files, and put them back where I meant to have them, but I gave them back to Alistair, and now I've got it. Okay. Oh, you gave me an MP3. You should have given me an AAC file, Alistair. Oh, well. It's going to get double transcoded. File plus set a track. So this will be Alistair. If you have an AAC, or I'm sorry, what do they call? A WAV file or an AIFF, Alistair, I could substitute it in after the fact if you want to send that over, if you have a chance, if you can, but it'll probably still sound pretty good. All right.
Timothy joined us.
Timothy? I
Long
haven't
time.
seen you in forever. Somebody tell Timothy our big news. Here we go. I want to hear this. All right, let's dig in and hear Alistair's dulcet tones.
Hello, Alison and NosillaCastaways. Alistair here again from New Zealand with a short review of a product recommended to me by another NosillaCastaway. First, the problem to be solved. I just bought myself a brand new 27-inch Retina 5K iMac. It's a beautiful machine and I'm very pleased with it. No, that's not a problem in itself, but if I look around the back of this beast, I see only one 3.5mm audio jack, and it's marked with a headphone symbol. It turns out it will support a headset with microphone, but that's not really going to cut it for recording high-quality audio, like I'm doing right now. As both of my previous Macs have had an audio in jack, I was unprepared for this. I could use the OWC Thunderbolt 2 dock I have, but it's a fairly large and expensive piece of kit just to do that, because I have no need for its other features anymore now that I know I'm using it. So I turned to the NosillaCast Google Plus community at podfeet.com/Google Plus and asked for recommendations for a suitable digital audio interface. Alison, you recommended the Shure MVI, which you had recently reviewed, but this sounded like a little more than I was looking for, and your comment about the touch controls also put me off. I'm used to twiddling a knob on my mixer or dragging a slider on the Mac, and reaching out to touch a small surface like that doesn't appeal to me. Sure has some cool features, but another recommendation took my fancy. George from Tulsa recommended the Behringer U-Control UCA222. I will admit that seeing the unit was red in color was the first thing I liked about it, but after reading about its capabilities, I was quite taken with it. I ordered one a few days later from a local music shop and picked it up on Friday. The unit sells on Amazon for $30 and I picked mine up for 79 New Zealand dollars, which is about what I'd expect after foreign exchange and local tax, plus a modest markup for the shop. Note this is less than a quarter of the price of the Shure MVI, which was another thing in the Behringer's favor. Over $4,000 on a new computer. The device is very compact, with the longest side only 88 millimeters long. If it had no appendages, it would fit comfortably in my hand and only weighs about 100 grams. It is finished in a dark metallic red and has a very good build quality. The 1.5 meter USB cable is fixed in one end of the device to provide the digital output to your computer, and there is also an SPDIF optical digital output which sends the same signal. 4 RCA sockets arrayed along the long side provide 2-channel analog input and output, so you can bring one stereo source into the device and relay that out to another, such as studio monitors. Additionally, there is a headphone port on the opposite side along with a volume control for that.
The one broadcasting.
The volume does not adjust the gain of the signal passed to the digital outputs, only the headphones. Aside from markings, the only other feature is a red LED which is lit when the device detects a valid USB connection. The UCA222 cannot be used as a standalone device for microphone connection. It is intended for mixers or preamps. My previous setup was an AKG D88S dynamic microphone plugged into a Behringer Eurorack UB502 5-channel mixer, and then the mixer output was cabled directly into the Mac. The new setup is almost identical, except the UCA222 now sits between the mixer and the Mac. Once I plugged everything in, I checked my sound settings on the Mac and found the familiar USB audio codec device. I centered all the gain controls on the mixer and tried a test. The VU meter moved, but just barely. Moving the output gain to 40% of its maximum yielded a suitable sound level. I noticed a quiet but obvious hum. I remembered my experience with hum using the Thunderbolt dock. Sure enough, I placed my standard sound isolator, a folded tea towel, under the microphone stand and the hum was banished. In fact, I believe the audio I am getting through into the Mac in this configuration is the cleanest I've ever had. And that's it. The UCA222 is a very simple device that performs very well, at least in the role I have it. I have no need for studio monitors, and I prefer to monitor the microphone at the Mac so I can hear other audio that is generated within the Mac at the same time. I won't use the headphone port on the device, nor do I need digital optical output. The Behringer mixer has given me faultless service as long as I've had it, so I'm happy the new device is also a Behringer. In fact, I'm really happy that in over 9 years I've stuck with the same basic microphone and mixer setup, despite 4 different computers, 2 different operating systems, and 4 different recording applications. The new device, I expect, will see me well past 10 years. Once again, that's the Behringer U-Control UCA222 for $30 from Amazon. Click the link in the show notes to be sure you're using Alison's Amazon. You can catch more of my mutterings, including a blog post about my thinking behind switching back to a desktop Mac, over at zkarj.me.
Good timing. Lindsay, I am drinking. I did not. I was so excited to talk about the baby that I forgot to. We're drinking out of a Calico Ballast Point mug, but I am actually drinking a Longfin Lager. I got it right for the first time that time.
So you're saying your glass and your beer don't match?
I know. I should have. I should. Yeah. How come I don't have a Longfin Lager glass? That's okay. I have enough. All right, Steve. What is that? Is that the doorbell again?
Might have been.
I just heard something from you. That would be funny.
I will mute.
Yes, you should mute. All right. Welcome, Joan. We haven't met before, have we? If you're in on the app, you must be one of the cool kids. Absolutely. We got a big party going on tonight. What are you laughing at, Steve? You done?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm just laughing at myself.
Okay, you laugh at your own jokes. Steve does that. All right. Did he get me a long fin glass, Steve? Lindsay's saying that Nolan says he's pretty sure he got me a long fin glass.
Nope.
I know I got a black marlin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black marlin. I got a calico. One's fathom, but I don't remember what the fourth one is. And sculpin. That's right. Yep. Oh, all right. Sandy's doing the Chardonnay thing. A woman after Rose's heart. All right. I'm going to start up recording here for a moment here. Well, you don't need any more proof that that's an awesome device than listening to the velvet tones that come from Alistair. That's for sure. I think this is a really cool choice if you already have a mixer. So remember, what he was talking about isn't standalone. The Shure MVI fits in the place of basically means you don't have to have a mixer if you use that plus something like Audio Hijack. Actually, there's nothing like Audio Hijack, so I guess I should just say Audio Hijack. Anyway, thanks so much for doing that, Alistair. That's fantastic. And thanks to George from Tulsa. You ever need something researched? Just go over to podfeet.com/Google+, join the Google Plus community, and write a question. You don't even have to point George at it, and George is going to come up with the answer. He's amazing at research. All right, let's kick in with another CES interview. This is on the Ring video doorbell, and I'm going to have a lot to say about this later and immediately after this interview. All righty, let's see that transition.
Maybe we should give them a demo in the chat room of the doorbell.
We could.
I could go ring the door, and you could show them the video.
Good. Well, let's play. Well, actually, we probably won't have them listen. Let me just check this transition.
RJ.me.
Well, you don't need any more proof. Okay, there we go. I don't like having my voice right after Alistair's. I mean, that's like having to go on as a comedian right after Robin Williams. I mean, geez. All right, so we're gonna drop ring. Oh, I need to add some tracks here. Let's. I'm gonna fold up. I said you were Alistair. I named you already. All right, Alistair's gonna get wound up there, and we're gonna add another track. I do like adding tracks with this. Okay, so this will be CES. I think the last time I had to bring these down quite a bit, but it worked out pretty well. So Steve, you want to go demonstrate?
Okay.
I'm going to take my use my watch to take my phone off of go ahead, Steve.
Now? Oh, you ready? You
now.
Sure?
I got it.
You can
go.
Phone?
Bye-bye. Yeah, I'm going to do it with phone.
Okay.
He's late to the show, not dead. Who is that? The late George? George, I just said nice things about you. But I only believe in doing that behind your back, so I'm not going to tell you what I said. You'll have to listen to the show. I think I went down about that far. All right. So you see my phone. It's turned off. Not running anything. And within a second here, we should get a little alert that there's activity at the door. Oh, my watch just said ring. You have two notifications. All right. With any luck, my phone should do something here. Maybe I don't have it on. All right. Let me log in here. Oh, there you go. See that? Okay. Let me turn the brightness down. Hang on. Let me turn the brightness down so you guys can see it. It's the weirdest thing. You have to turn the brightness down. Should I talk to him? All right. Let's go ahead and talk. All right. Someone is here. Steve, what are you doing?
I was thinking of breaking in.
Can you guys hear him? He said he was thinking of breaking in.
Is this house occupied right now?
Yeah, I'm in the can. I can't get to the door right now.
Perfect. That's just when I want to come in. I have a package to deliver.
All right. I think that's enough, Steve. Bye, Steve. All right. I think having my phone on Do Not Disturb right before that, it might have messed things up. The reason you didn't see it right away, but we've been, it is pretty cool. We will be doing a full review, but let me record that right now after this interview. I've been hearing a lot of really good things about the Ring video. Man, I am really happy with the audio quality of the interviews from CES now. that new rig. We got the new digital mic and transmitter, and it gets such a clean signal. And I'm really, really excited about that. All right, Joan says to save. I think I will save. Looks like I hadn't done it. Well, I'm pretty excited about the Ring Video Doorbell. The people from Ring sent us one as a review unit to convince Steve that it's worthwhile. And we've been having a lot of fun with it. I'll be talking about how we had to buy a router, and I don't mean an airport extreme. I mean a wood router in order to do some modifications to our house in order to put the Ring Video Doorbell in. Not ready to do a review yet, but we do have it. We've been playing around with it a little bit. The live chat room over at podfeed.com/live. Just got to see a live demo of Steve on the Ring Video Doorbell. So it looks pretty cool. It should be pretty fun. All right, let's switch gears and let's go over to listen about the FLIR One Personal Thermal Imager. All right,
Easy for you to say.
Sure. Have another beer, Allison. Well, I'm pretty excited about the Ring Video Doorbell. The people. Let's see.
Success.
Well, I'm pretty excited. I don't know. That's a really good question. Let me. Dan just asked about accessibility. Let's see. Let me go back to the main screen.
Voiceover on.
Oh, good grief.
Menu. Button. Ring. Front door. Owner. Chime. Downstairs.
Who turned the speed down on my voiceover?
Front door. Selected. All activity. Rings. Motion. Share white. Front door. Accept.
Okay, it's going into video.
Play. Button. Play.
You can see Steve.
Landscape. Video.
Too bright.
No, I'm trying. It's for audio, Steve.
Ah, you just want the audio.
Done.
Okay, I just got a new iPhone.
Devices.
Okay, wait.
Front door. Voiceover off.
I just got a new iPhone, and apparently it comes with a really slow voice. So so far so good, as my incredibly in-depth study was there, Dan. But I'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes. All right. So next we got to do FLIR. My ears are hurting. I need new ear cups, Steve. What happened to that email? I sent you something saying I wanted new ear cups, and I found somebody to do it, but I can't find where I sent it. Did you get a new iPhone? Oh, I got a new iPhone because the battery was weird on the other one. Kept dying at about 25%. It would say it had nothing. It would go 25-0. But I plug it in and it would say, I got 33%. Apple said there was nothing wrong with the battery, but they said, you want a new one? I said, sure. And it seems to have fixed it. So, man, I'm almost 3/4 of the way through that beer. Imager. Well, I'm pretty excited. I wonder if I can fix that. Let's see. I think I can fix that. Let's see how badly I did that. I need to do that one of these days. How about right there? Thermal image. Yeah, I can fix it. Thermal image. Okay. Plus. Yeah, I can totally get rid of that. Listen to this. Personal thermal imager. Nobody but you guys will know that I screwed that line up. Okay, let's hear that. Listen about the FLIR One Personal Thermal Imager. Okay, I think I'll drag you a little bit closer. Personal Thermal Imager. Intonation might be off, but they won't know. All right, this is cool. This is a doohickey that you hook on top of your on your camera. How much was it, Steve? Do you remember?
What was this?
How about the FLIR One Thermal Imager?
It was about $250, I think.
Oh, I was thinking maybe we get Nolan one for his iPhone for camping, so that they know if there was a bear in the woods at night.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Wow, that is a packed house. I'm looking at the chat room. Did yeah, everybody got a seat? Anybody? George, did you have to stand in the end there, or are you okay? All right, let's see. Oh, I'm going to need to switch to this. Actually, I don't want that. I want FLIR. No, I want Fun with video encoding.
$2.49 on Amazon.
Oof. Did we put a link? We should have put a link to it on my to my affiliate link. Now that I think about it. Mark says, does anyone notice how much older Podfeed sounds today? She reminds me of my grandma Molly. Stop.
Very good, Mark.
That's terrible.
He's in rare form.
You think your guard dog would alert us early? Yeah, I think so. George says he's watching our Ring video doorbell. The Ring is only $200, and then it's got a service you can buy to store the videos online and view them from a website, web interface. But you have to pay for it. But the service is only $30 a year, so pretty affordable, really. All right, here we go. The FLIR device sounds pretty cool, and I'm excited about the pricing. Even though it's around $250 now, it was I want to say it was like $600 or $800 the device they had before that they showed off at Macworld a few years ago. So it's really starting to come down into the consumer category. Not sure you'd buy it just for maybe the one-off. I'm going to go camping. I want to know if there's a bear out there before I walk to the porta potty, but. Well, that's the kind of camping I do, is where there's porta potties. But anyway, yeah, I think it's a pretty cool device, and it's fun to see those things coming down into the range where maybe we can start to afford it. All right, enough fooling around here. I want to tell you how smart I am. This is my favorite news story. I've told you a lot of stories about how my friend Dorothy helps me out by writing scripts to help me automate things I do for the podcast. Well, she's really smart and knows so much more than I do about programming. We have a lot of fun working on these projects, but let's be honest, the brains have been all on Dorothy's side of the keyboard. At best, I could say I'm the idea person. But those tables were turned for the first time this week. Let me set the stage with you for the problem to be solved before I tell you how brilliant I was. Dorothy and her husband Mark go on long trips on their boat, and they need entertainment while they travel. They used to drag along giant piles of DVDs, but a while back they decided to rip their vast collection of movies and, as I suggested, get an Apple TV to play them back on the boat. Dorothy wrote a script to pull down all the metadata to get all of the movies to look right and get them all sorted correctly in iTunes, all set for the Apple TV, and everything was grand. Well, they liked the Apple TV experience so much of the boat, they decided to buy one for home. I tried to convince Dorothy to buy my old Apple TV when the new one came out, but she didn't fall for it, and she bought a new one of her own. Now, you'd think this would be the happy ending. Something odd happened. A large percentage of the movies that played just fine on the old Generation 3 Apple TV would not run on the new one. So you know how when you recommend something to someone, if anything goes wrong with that thing, it's your fault? Well, Dorothy would never do that, but Dorothy and Mark had us over for a barbecue, and Mark cornered me to tell me just what he thought of this new Apple TV. He was not at all pleased. He explained to me what was happening, and I was able to verify that lots of people were having the exact same problem as Dorothy and Mark, where a lot of movies that played on their Apple TV 3 would not play on the Apple TV 4. I decided maybe I could help here. It was clear that something must be different in how these movies were encoded, the ones that weren't correctly playing, and it had to do with something that the new Apple TV couldn't tolerate. Dorothy and I studied the specs for the two devices, and we didn't find a root cause there. It's time for a Dorothy and Allison playdate. I went to Dorothy's house, and I brought my iPad Pro, my Apple Pencil, my MacBook, and my MacBook Pro. We used all of them. We used the iPad Pro first for note-taking. You know, the Apple Pencil and the awesome program Notability together is actually a great way to take notes because you don't have to copy them. You got them electronically, but you get to write just like you're writing, scribbling on a piece of paper. Now, of course, we could have used a pad of paper and a real pencil, but what kind of fun would that have been? Mark had taken their MacBook Pro on a trip, so that's why I brought two laptops. That way we could both experiment sitting in the living room instead of her having to run back and forth to her iMac. First, on the iPad Pro, the iPad Pro, I drew out a plan of attack. We had to figure out what was different about those files that didn't work from those that did. We went through the movies till we found 3 that worked and 3 that didn't. Next, we used a great tool I've mentioned before called VidConvert from reggieashworth.com. It's designed to transcode video files, but it will also reveal everything you want to know about the innards of a video file. But before we get too deep into this, I want to tell a whole nother story that will explain why I actually knew what was going on in these next steps. About 100 years ago when I was working, I thought maybe podcasts inside our big company would be a good way to communicate. I was running a large organization of computer scientists and engineers, so I assigned a couple of them to help me with this project. Pretty much the classic manager pet project. By the way, one of those computer scientists listens to this show. Hi, Keith. Anyway, they created a web-based tool that allowed people to submit any format audio file, and they could make it into an audio podcast in MP3. Not only did they have to transcode the audio file to an MP3, they also had to attach a company-sponsored audio disclaimer at the front end of every audio file. It said something like, don't share these podcasts with any of your friends, blah, blah, blah. But that was pretty easy when it was audio. By the way, the acronym for our podcast network was RPN. All homages intended. All right, sometime later, we got reorganized. I was no longer the manager, but I became an IT fellow instead, which is a pretty awesome title, by the way. It means smart guy. Anyway, I got the itch to improve the podcast network to allow video podcasting. I went back to the guys who'd created the original tool and asked them to help me figure it out. Well, video podcasts were going to be much harder to produce. First of all, the number of potential formats the users could submit was vast. I didn't want to tell them they had to use a certain format because any friction at all would stop them from experimenting with this new medium. So we could get, QuickTime movie files, MP4s, MOVs, or M4Vs, or worse yet, we would probably get nasty old Windows WMV files. We would not in addition to not knowing what format it was, we wouldn't even know what size they were going to be. They could be 640 by 480, 1024 by 768, whatever. You had no way of knowing what they were going to produce. The options were endless on that. To make matters even more interesting, we were going to have to tack that disclaimer on the front of whatever glop they submitted. This was going to be an interesting problem to solve. So you've got to match the file size, right? You got to say if it's 1024 by 768, you got to attach the right size video to the front of it. You got to match the formatting. This was going to be tricky. When I asked them if they would figure it out, one of the guys, not Keith, the other guy, said quite cheekily, "You go figure it out." Well, as another sidebar to the sidebar to the sidebar story, I have to say it's a bit of a shock when a manager has to stand on her own 2 feet all of a sudden. But I decided to take on this challenge. So let's review my skill set. I'm a Mac user who's been a manager for around 20 years. And before that, I was a mechanical engineer. And my last programming class was Fortran 4 with Watt 5 in 1978. I was going to have to figure this out using the command line in Linux. Yeah, this is going to work. Well, I have to tell you, I'm going to skip a lot of the story, but it took me around 4 months to figure it out. Probably anybody else could have done it in a couple of weeks, but I did it. I figured the whole thing out and got it to work. It turns out the key to all of this video nonsense is understanding two things: codecs and a tool called FFmpeg. I'm going to come back to FFmpeg in a minute, but I got to explain what codecs are first. You've heard people refer to a file as an MP4, an MOV. In fact, I just did a minute ago. These are called what are called containers. They don't really define much of anything about what's inside that file at all, because inside of a container is what's called a video codec and an audio codec. Codec stands for coder decoder. An example of an audio codec would be MP3 or AAC, while a video codec example could be H.264. Okay, everybody with me so far? Inside codecs, though, that's where you get to all the juicy bits. You find fun things like frame rate, bit rate, sample rate, keyframes, and more. Think of this as like breaking down atoms. You have parameters that are inside codecs that are inside containers. So that's why two MP4s sitting side by side are not at all the same thing. One could have an MP3 audio codec, and the other one could have an AAC audio codec inside it. You simply do not know from the container name. People often say things like, "Oh, why does this M4V file play, but the other M4V doesn't?" Well, now you know that the container name is pretty much useless information. By the way, when I was really dug into this stuff, you can tell nobody would talk to me at parties because I talked about it all the time. Anyway, I think we're going to go up one level. This is going to be like Inception. We keep going down and back up in sidebars. But anyway, do you know how to figure out what's inside these files? You can use an open source free command line tool and associated libraries called FFmpeg. It runs on Linux, Mac, and Windows. FFmpeg is super powerful. You can use it to query files, you can transcode them, you can mash them together like I wanted to in my example from work. Here's another fun little factlet. Every single video encoding application I have ever seen uses FFmpeg under the hood. Whenever I find a new one, I check. Somewhere buried in the documentation, you'll find a reference to FFmpeg. All right, enough with the lessons. Let's get back to Dorothy's problem. First, we used Reggie Ashworth's vidconvert to query these files because it has a nice GUI. We could do it with FFmpeg, but let's just start with vidconvert. All we know is we've got 6 files, 3 work, 3 don't. So we made a little table in a Google Sheet with the fields I thought were most likely to be suspicious. For each of our test videos, we recorded the container format, which we know is pretty useless. We had the overall bit rate, the video codec, the video bit rate, the bits per pixel. I'm not sure what that is. I hadn't seen that one before, but it was new, so I wrote it down. And then for audio, we recorded the codec, the sample rate, and the bit rate. Out of all that data, we discovered that every video that did not play on the new Apple TV had a very odd audio bit rate of exactly 177 kilobits per second. The ones that did play nice were all of the standard rates of like 192 kilobits per second and 96 kilobits per second. We didn't want to get too excited, but with anticipation, we used VidConvert's advanced settings to re-encode one of these files and just change the audio bit rate to 96 kilobits per second. One super cool feature of VidConvert is that you can ask it to make you a preview so you don't have to wait for a 2-hour movie to transcode. We made the preview and it worked on the new Apple TV. It was amazing. There was geek dancing in the street. I mean, Dorothy and I tried to do high fives, but we're spazzes, but we did. We tried. So now we know the problem and we know how to fix one, but we don't want to use a GUI to fix all the offending videos. Remember that our goal is to write a program that will crawl Dorothy's vast library, find all the broken ones, and fix all those offending videos. So we can't be using a sissy GUI, no matter how awesome Reggie's tool is. It's time to figure out how to do this with FFmpeg from the command line. After just a few minutes looking at the documentation and Googling for examples, we wrote the following command. FFmpeg space -I space input.mp4 space -B:(A). Let's see, I'm going to stop saying space. 64K minus strict -2 output.mp4. This command says with the -I modifier to take as an input file, input.mp4, and then with -B:(A), change just the audio stream to 64 kilobits per second. I'm not sure why -B:(A) means the audio stream, but roll with us here. AAC is the audio codec we want to use to stay consistent with our videos because the other ones were AACs, but the AAC encoder has an incompatible license with the GNU public license, the GPL, under which FFmpeg is distributed. You could download and build in the real AAC encoder if you wanted to, but we're kind of trying to keep moving here. So we added the -strict -2 line in order to use an experimental AAC encoder instead that does have a compatible license. Then all of this gets crammed into the output.mp4 file. Believe it or not, for an FFmpeg command, this is a really, really simple command. I've made ones before that word wrap several times, like go 4 lines long. Anyway, the good news is that Dorothy ran this command on a real 2-hour movie that would not run on the new Apple TV, and after about 20 minutes, she had a file with an audio bit rate of 64 kilobits per second, and it ran just fine on the new Apple TV. We have success on stage 2. We know it's wrong, and we now know how to fix it from the command line. Next, we had to figure out how to query a file for its audio bitrate instead of using the visual tools within VidConvert, since this will be part of a script in the end. I discovered that with our FFmpeg download, we also got a tool called FFprobe, which is designed to, as you might guess, probe the files. After some Googling, I figured out how to get it to query a file and tell us the audio bitrate. But it returned this giant pile of glop. I mean, it was just all kinds of information, not just the audio bitrate. At that point, I actually used egrep to do this all by myself, thanks to taming the terminal with Bart. Can you imagine how proud I was of my little self? Well, Dorothy took off from there and figured out how to get it to return just the audio bitrate, so that completes another phase of our project. There's a lot more work for Dorothy to do here. She needs to create a script that will crawl her vast iTunes library, use FFprobe to find every video that has the incorrect audio bitrate, and then run our FFmpeg command to change it to a more normal bitrate. This will keep Dorothy out of the bars for weeks. When we were done, Dorothy confessed that she did not believe for a minute that we'd be able to succeed at this task. She figured that either every video would be encoded exactly the same, so we'd never find a pattern to find, or every video would be encoded completely differently, so we still wouldn't be able to find a pattern. She had no faith whatsoever and was delighted that we were able to find the clue so quickly and figure out how to fix it. She also explained that when I sent her the information to read on FFmpeg, she was completely overwhelmed by all of the options and didn't know where to start. I have to say the best part of this for me was that for once, I was the smart person helping Dorothy fix a problem. So far, our score is about 268-1 in Dorothy's favor, but it was a victory for me nonetheless. If you want to learn more about FFmpeg, just check it out at ffmpeg.org. That was 14 minutes straight reading a script without screwing up. I think I might save. Have I missed anything? Wow. Where's the line that says what? Oh, good grief. I'm going to have to. Did I miss anything good? All right.
A lot of talk about computer programming.
Oh, good. Nice. So we got a bunch of nerd balls in here today, huh?
And for some reason, Sandy and George have gone off in French.
Sandy and George are in French. That's nice. All right, good. Yeah, I want to read all this. That was a long time. Whew. So this is going to be a long show. I guess we're only at 17 minutes. That's not that bad. All right. Close that one and go back to this one. Preview. What do we got next? Okay, I think I will go here, and I gotta go there. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm going to take a break here and go back to a CS interview. We're going to hear from IO Gear about USB-C adapters, which is more interesting than it sounds. All right. .org. All right, I'm going to take a break here. Interesting. The shorter your clip that you record, the more audio, Amadeus Pro zooms in. So when I did that 13 straight minutes, the whole waveform was crammed into the till it was real tight up. But then I did that little tiny clip, and it instantly changed to zoomed in, which is kind of interesting. All right, here we go. So now CES, and now I'm going to go to IO Gear. All right. More interesting than it sounds. All right, Steve says I was ridiculous in buying a MacBook because it's only got the single USB-C adapter, but I'm in the booth with Raymond Trong from IO. I'm kind of proud of myself for how much I mixed up the intros. Did you notice that, Steve? I start getting creative instead of starting everyone with, I'm in the booth with. Steve's bored, not paying attention.
Yes. That's,
yes,
I'm
that
here,
was
I'm back.
amazing. All right. All right. Quick thing here. Well, I can't wait until these adapters are out. It sounds like this is going to break loose pretty soon. I sure hope we get some more USB-C adapters that can do some more creative things. I need them. All right, let's talk about tools now. And this time, I mean power tools. And that didn't stop as quickly as it should have. Cut that off. Minus, check that interface. Well, I can't wait until these adapters are out. Okay, and now we're going to drop in. We're going to talk to the Black & Decker women. I like these women because they were drinking martinis right before I walked up, and I gave them a hard time for it, so that was fun. Uh-oh, George, what have you done now? What is that, George? Awesome. I have a chainsaw. Have you seen my chainsaw video? Steve gave me a chainsaw for Mother's Day one year.
You're probably not interested in that link, Al.
What is it? Music?
It's a link to Paul Simon video. Still crazy after all these years.
Well, okay. I only own 11 albums or 9? Is it 9? And 2 of them are Simon and Garfunkel. So maybe one of them is Garfunkel by himself. How's that? Power tools. Like all girls, I was taught to use Black & Decker tools by my mother, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm in the Black & Decker booth with Sarah Wyndham, and they've got some smart tech with Black & Decker tools.
Yeah, so smart tech is actually a feature set that's found in all of our product lines, outdoor products.
All right. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit here, and then we're getting close to done. Oh, it's 5:44. Time to get going. Here we go. Well, I can't wait until these tools are available. These sound like fun. The live chat room's giving me a hard time because Sandy's afraid when she found out that I actually own a chainsaw. But I mean, come on, all girls have to have chainsaws. Steve got me a chainsaw for, I think it was for Mother's Day one year. So it's not that terrifying. It's it's a really good thing. All right, well, let's switch gears again. As you might have noticed, Bart and I have been in the process of renaming Security Light. He noticed a while ago that often the stories didn't really fit the description we had created of Light, which was that he would only tell you about things you could do something about. Over time, that has evolved into giving you knowledge about what you should light your hair on fire about, and maybe just as important, those things where a conflagration is maybe not necessary. And then there's things like interesting security news. Well, we messed around a little bit. We started calling it security stuff, but we didn't really like that very much. Last week during the live show at podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific time, I asked the NosillaCastaways for ideas, and they rose to the challenge. Some of them were constructive and useful, like security safeguards from Sandy, security sessions from Rose, and security Sunday from Lindsay. And some of them were silly and made us giggle, like security slog from Kevin. How about you are not security, or you are not secure with Bart Bouchatz from Will, and security scams and secrecy from Sybil. And my personal favorite, the Allison Sheridan security sing-along from John. Okay, those were fun. But Alistair had lots of helpful ideas, including the winner and our new title, Security Bits. Now, he also suggested Security Bites, but I already have plans for that name. I hope to someday soon have the time to start, or make the time, to start a security newsletter for high-tech people like you to send to their muggle friends and relatives. It's going to start slow and probably stay slow. Let me know what you think of that idea, if you think that would be cool. I'm thinking just so you can send people something that they can read that's maybe just little tiny bites, right? Little tiny bite-sized pieces of how to stay secure. Anyway, thanks so much to all of the NosillaCastaways for coming up with our new security name, Security Bits. Alistair didn't remember that one. Yep. I think you get a prize. Your prize is you get to host the show every summer. All right. What are you doing in April, Alistair? How are you doing for that? Lots of saws, not a chainsaw. Well, mine isn't technically a chainsaw, Steve says, but it's a chain that goes around on, like that. But it's got these two side pieces to it. It's sort of like a big pair of scissors. And you, in order to run the chainsaw, you have to grip both handles. I mean, if you're the kind of person trying to cut their arm off, you're going to get a bungee cord and tie one side down anyway, so you can cut your arm off. But you squeeze both of them, and then you pull them, or you squeeze them together, and then the two pieces come together. So this kind of grabs the log, and this grabs the other side and pulls it together. It's really fun.
I think they call that a lopper.
That is, yeah. Do you know where my? Yeah, I think it was technically called a lopper. All right, we're done with that. Okay, now I need, what do I need? I need Security Bits. Security Bits, which I think is called, no, where's it? Uh-oh. What'd I do with it, you guys? Let's chit chat. Where's Security Light? Uh-oh. Where is it? Where did I put it? That's not good. Ah, there it is. Yeah, that really does go there, I guess. I need to change my folder structure. Okay, so let's see. Let's add another track. Security Bits. Drag that one in there. And then there's going to be an addendum to Security Bits. And that one's going to go, we'll put that there. Yes, I'm going to move you. Okay, this is 2016-01-24 Lost Pass. Okay, so put that in, and then, oh, shoot. Oh, no, I know. I've got to do one of these GarageBand jingles here. I forgot to put that in. Where did I put that in? I'll put that in here. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. All right. I got to put the music before Bart. I got to push. Can I push both of you, or will you drag on top? No, you will drag you. Oh, look at that. I just learned something else cool about Amadeus Pro. I can drag two things. I dragged a clip until it hit another clip, and then I kept dragging, and it dragged them both. That's cool. The Podfeet Chainsaw Massacre. I can't believe how quickly Sybil fit in here. You definitely have a screw loose. All right, wait. Only bits after you juggle that chainsaw. Ah, I get it. Okay, let's see. Anyway, thanks so much to all of the NosillaCastaways for coming up with our new security name, Security Bits. It's good music, Steve. All right, it's time for... Okay, that took too long. Plus. All right, here. Let me do that about. Come on. All right. All right, it's time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots. How you doing today, Bart?
I am doing fine, even though it's a Friday evening. So
All right. Minus. Let's go down to this end. And then we've got a quick little breaking news, going to drop this one back in. He told me he wanted me to have one of those doodle things to show that I've dropped something else in, but I'm too lazy to go find a clip for that. So it's going to finish, and then it's going to start right back up again.
you like me to not end on a depressing story, so how's about that?
That's a good one. All right, Bart. Well, thanks a lot. And we'll talk to you again, I guess, in a couple of weeks.
That is certainly the plan. And until then, stay patched and stay secure.
Late breaking news. This just in. Big story about LastPass. Okay, I'm going to cut that a little bit shorter. Let's see. No. Late breaking news. Let me pull those two together a little less. Okay.
Stay patched and stay secure.
Late breaking news. This just in. Big story about LastPass. This broke right after we finished recording. What's the story, Bart?
Okay, so the story is known as Lost Pass.
All right. He wanted me to do a jingle, but I don't have one handy. So I'm going to go to here and go to the top track. Is that me? I think that's me up there. All right. That's pretty good. What are we up to? 85 minutes. Thank goodness I cut the show in half. Jeez. All right. Here we go. All right. Well, as I keep saying, it's a good thing I cut the show in half. Anyway, I'm glad you stuck with us to the end, but that's going to wind us up for this week. Do not forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com. Follow me on Twitter @podfeet. And do check out that NosillaCast Google Plus community. Like I said, you put something in there, George will find the answer for you. Anyway, if you want to join in the fun of the live show like Joan did for the first time, hi, Joan, and get a chance to do high fives with Ghibli's for having a baby for us. Anyway, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Whew. All right. Stay subscribed. Let me see how that transition is.
Until next time, stay safe and stay secure, but do it again now, but for longer.
Oh, good. I got a cat on my back. I got a dog making flappy noises while I'm recording. What are you doing?
Oh, but for longer.
Well, as I keep saying, it's a good thing
I'm having a little trouble concentrating.
Steve, are you really helpful? I'm glad you stuck with us to the end, but that's all right. Now save. So the end is at 85 minutes. And so we're going to go to the beginning. How do we get to the beginning? Control? Nope, that wasn't it. Option? Nope. What if we just drag this little thing to the beginning? There we go. So I've got my intro music, and hopefully that sounds good. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Macintosh bias. Today is Sunday, January 24th, 2016, and this is show number 559. We got a lot of fun on deck today, including a review by... All right, so that's good. Now we got to take our outro. Oh, did I have a standard outro? Wait a minute. Oh, hang on. This is going to make any sense to you, but I'll be able to tell what it is. Yes, interviews, and then clean our palate. Oh, that's the outro music. Oh, that's what I was trying to do. Okay, so outro music. So I only need one of these. Okay, sound track, shift track to 85. And now we should be able to see what's going on out here. All right, gotta zoom out a little bit. Tesla. All you can see is her feet sticking out here, Steve. Yep. Well, her life isn't worth living anymore because, you know, with the kittens and all, her life is not worth living. All right, what's going on here? Oh, there we are. I want to do that. All right, let's hear how that sounds. Follow me on Twitter at Podfeet and do check out NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. All right, so we got that. It's a lot of pieces to put together, but I think I didn't screw it up this time. All right, let's see. We're going to do, let's see. We are at 5:56 p.m. We are going to file, save a, let's see. No, we're going to do a sound bounce document to new file. Sandy, Tessa, please get comfortable. Oh, good grief. We got to figure out a way to, okay, hang on. I can do this. That is, now she's comfortable. How's that? That is Tesla in her perfect form. That's good, Tesla. No one wants to look at that.
I think half the day she's like that.
Oh, all right. We are back. Oh, wow. What are those things? Are those the, wow. I think those are the, that's fantastic research. Just go over to podfeet.com/Google+, join the Google Plus community and write a question later and immediately after this interview. I've been hearing. Wow, the waveform looks like I didn't bring that sound out at all. Oh, Sandy does want to look at that. All right. Ghibli's probably likes that. Save as, and we're going to do that as a AIFF, and we're going to call it NC 2016 0124 AIFF. There we go. Lies. I think it's lies down. Stays on her back. All right. Well, this has been a super fun. Oh, Joan Rich. Joan, did you give Steve your information? We get to add you to the official, the real NosillaCastaways, the ones
we didn't get a Twitter handle.
Didn't get a Twitter handle.
If she has one, he or she.
Joan, if you have a Twitter handle, it would be great if we could get that from you. Uh-oh. Someone's at the door, Steve. Motion at your front door. Let's see. Was it real? This is exciting. There's nothing there. Whoop, too bright.
Yeah, nothing there.
Nope.
False alarm. We have
False alarm.
We have to adjust the sensitivity of that.
All right. Joan says no tweet. That's fine. Yeah, it is not a requirement. It's just fun if you do. All right, guys. Well, it sounds like we have managed to make it muddle through another week, and I really appreciate you guys all coming for especially this is special occasion for us to get to announce that Lindsay is pregnant. It is, it's a big excitement for us. Actually, George, here's there's the picture of Lindsay and Nolan and Dodger announcing that the baby's coming. We'll see how Dodger feels being second fiddle. But anyway, thank you guys for coming. Loved you all. Bye-bye. Say goodbye, Steve.
Goodbye, Steve.